Yeah, perfect. So first of all,
Yes,
welcome.
sir.
And according to me, you did well, but you were very disappointed with a 750. I have your call recording also. It was like almost a dejected situation. So take us through the geometry part because today was a geometry session, and you said that
Okay, sir.
geometry was a genuinely tough beast for you. Although you practiced a lot, and you were at 51 almost. And then
Yes, sir, I
verbal,
was.
take us through verbal also, whether it was pretty straightforward or something. You said one RC was a challenge or one question in something. So just take us through the
Yes, sir.
test. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just start by introducing myself. I am Parkhi. I joined Sir's class. I think I joined the live online sessions back in January end of February beginning. I'm not really sure, but yeah. So as you were talking, so the verbal. I'll just start by verbal. So verbal was not very strange to me. It was nothing out of the blue except one RC passage because it just had a lot of jargons in it. It had a lot of very difficult words. I remember it was some business related RC passage, and but it had a lot of jargons in it. So I think that is what was puzzling for me. And it was a pretty long RC. I remember it was like 50, 60 lines of an for an RC. But yeah, other than that, my verbal was pretty easy sail through. Though I would not be saying the same thing like a month or two back. If I had prepared 1 month less or maybe something like that, I would not be saying that now.
So let me
But
just
yeah,
intervene a
my
little, Parker, here. So
yes,
she was
yes.
struggling with the pacing in verbal a lot and even in accuracy. I suggested doing a long sittings with the LSAT papers. And you can tell that experience also how that panned out for you.
Yes. Yeah. I was giving the MBA.com online tests and I was like scoring pretty good. Like no test I got below 770 in any of those tests. So I was very satisfied with my performance. But when I, tried out for SIRS portals, the exams in SIRS portals, my verbal accuracy was very low and I was having a lot of pacing issues. So then I talked to Sir about it. I remember saying that I thought I had done everything and I thought everything was in line, but my RC is not really panning out, and my timing is all haywire. It's not the timing that I wish for. So then Sir suggested me, do LSAT passages. Now what happens is LSAT passages are very long passages, but the main point of doing LSAT is that you just read the passage in one go just to get the gist of it. You don't try to grab everything in the passage. You just have to get the gist of the passage and then move on to the questions. So you do give 2 minutes at least to reading the passage, and you read it through and you read it well. And then when you go through the questions, you know exactly where the answer lies. And then you read that line and you have the answer. So LSAT really helped with that, and LSAT really helped with my CRs as well. So uh, I remember there were some 25 questions, actually 50 questions in one LSAT paper for CR. So for those 25 questions, I used to allot myself 35 minutes, and I used to have a timer on, and I did that for 50, I did that for 20 LSAT papers, and
That is 40
that really helped.
sections.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
No, yeah, that is 40 sections, sir. So that's like somewhere
Okay,
around
so I have to
a lot
also
of
commend you
questions.
on one thing that you finished so much content, everything given in the PDFs and everything on the portal almost, plus 1000 SC questions, you did about 750. So that
Yes, sir.
level of pacing, level of mastery that you developed over the months, but I think you gave a lot of effort towards the end, like 2, 3 months towards the end, you were really,
Yes,
really
sir.
intensely preparing. You were kind of not really doing as well, or in terms of actual study, I think it got derailed 2, 3 times as well because it
Yes,
took
sir.
way longer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I remember like texting you once or twice that I've lost all my motivation to study. And then I remember
Yeah.
that motivational seminars you had, like one day in time motivational seminars. That
Mhm.
really helped me, get my motor back on and, get studying.
All
But
right.
yes, that
So
was, I think,
now
verbal.
we talk about the difficult bit, that is geometry, and what
Yes,
suddenly
sir.
happened on the test. And you said you'd attended that seminar also in which I told this very clearly that geometry
The
is not
geometry
working
gone
out.
haywire.
Right, right.
Yes, sir.
So
So I think the last few, 15 questions, first 15, I was done with those questions in 20 minutes. Like first 15 questions, I was done in 20 minutes. Then the remaining, somewhere I got, 2, 3 long questions that took a little bit of time, but those were also good. But somewhere around the end, I started getting very weird geometry questions. So now I had attended that seminar of yours. So, and you had told, told about that, how if more than 2 minutes you given that question and you getting nowhere with that question, leave that question, go to a next question. So that is, I think, that is the strategy that I used for those geometry questions, because I knew I was getting nowhere with those geometry questions. Those were some questions that I had, never even seen before. They were very weird. I remember there was this RC passage. Sorry, there was this geometry question that talked about a polygon with 10 sides and some angle inside that. I don't know. It was, and yeah, 10 sides, and there was a cylinder made within it, and a circle within the cylinder as well had to be fitted. Something like that. Some sphere had to be fitted within the cylinder or something like that. It was very complicated. So I had given 2 hours to that, 2 minutes to that question. I knew I was getting nowhere, so I skipped that question. So yeah, there were like five geometry questions that were all over the place. I just could not find my way through. So as you
Everything
suggested, I
else,
did
but
that.
nothing else unusual
Yeah,
on the test entirely, right?
nothing at all, nothing at all, nothing at all. And for both my exams, I had like, for verbal, I had 1.5 minutes remaining at the end of verbal, and for quant as well, I had like 1 minute remaining at the end of quant. So yeah, I was my pacing was like pretty on point for the both the exams.
And we
But yeah,
also discussed there is no need for you to reappear, although because this is a decent score, but you do want to. Tell us about that
yes, sir.
motivation as well, because you've invested so much of yourself in it. That's why it's like a personal battle, or do you think a business school will really be more interested in your candidature if you were to have a higher score? Like, what is it?
Yeah, so I talked to Audrey as well about this when we were planning for, we were starting. So I'm currently looking for a deferred MBA. So
Hmm.
I was talking to Audrey about it, and my grades are also like decent, pretty decent. And but so Audrey was also saying that 750 is like a good, decent score. You will might as well, you can apply for the top 10. They might as well like look at your CV, and there are things we can work on. But 750 is a good score. But like I talked to you about it, 7 750 is a good score, but on my laptop I have a 770 sticker stuck, so that whenever I open my laptop to study, I see that that was my target score. 770 was my target score. I just like missed, as you said, I missed by 1 point. That is, if I would have
Okay,
got a
if your
quant
quant had been 50, you would
Q50.
have got 770.
Yeah, 770 as you talk. So just like 1 mark. So I think that 1 mark, as you always say, the 707, the last bit is the sail through. You just have to get your concepts right. The last bit is the sail through. So I think right now I have my all concepts really on point. I just have that 1 mark. I think I
So
can
you're
get that
going
1 mark.
ahead with the
So
preparation as you told me
yes,
for the
sir.
month.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
All
Yes,
right,
sir.
all
Yes, sir.
right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, other people, anybody has a question for her, please? And first of all, 750 itself is pretty good according to me. 44 in verbal, I'm very impressed with. 49 on quant, we know the reason as well. So any question you have, you can please ask anyone.
Hey Parkhi, congratulations on the score. I have a
Thank you so much.
question just before the exam day, right? And 3 to 4 days before the exam, is there anything specific that you did that you could possibly share? I know Sir had already told us that, if you towards the end sort of just sit through and keep ensuring that you pace very well during the exam, and if pacing is an issue, then keep solving, have sitting for longer hours and go about it. But anything else that you suggest?
Yeah, so you talk about the last 3 4 days, right? The
Yes,
last 3 4 days
yes,
you're talking
yes.
about. Yeah, yeah. So I did this thing for all SIRS classes, all of them, like all the online classes we had. And the pre-work as well. I would always sit down in my notebook and write notes. For example, even the quant, I have each and every single thing written in my notebook. So that a lot of times we don't have the time, or we sometimes lack the courage to even go visit each PPT back again, to go revisit all the info again. So I had all of that written down in my notebook when sir was teaching as well. And the pre-work he used to give, I used to first sit down, write all the notes, write all the formulas down in one notebook, and in a separate notebook do all the work that sir had given us to do. So I went through that. And plus while going through the RC passage, why you solve RC passages, sometimes you get difficult words, like maybe one or two difficult words, but sometimes things like preclude. I did not know the meaning of preclude before I came about it in two or three RC passages. But preclude seems to come a lot of times in RC passages. So that is why I had like a list of 5, 10, 10, 20 words approx for RC as well. That I thought knowing the meaning of them was necessary. So that I think I did. And also the list of idioms. Sir gives us a list of idioms also in the very start. One of those PPTs I remember. So I think I suggest taking out a printout of that. Those idioms, and
This
along
is
the
for the
way as you're
last minute
solving.
revision that you're saying, right? Mainly, this is for the
Yes, yeah.
last.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The last 3 4 days. Yes, sir. So I suggest taking out a printout of that, and as you go about solving SC, you will find a lot of idioms that you are not aware of. So keep noting it down in that paper. So I remember I had like a list of 100 additional idioms that were not in the list, but I had found through those, through solving all the content that sir had given us.
Mhm.
So I suggest doing that as well. So yeah, I think I just suggest revising. I do not
So,
suggest panicking so much.
right.
But yeah, I
Parky,
just
what was
suggest
your
all
weakest
that.
area to start with when you started your prep? What was the most challenging for you?
Weaker. Yeah, so when I started my prep, I think SC and SC and RC. I remember talking to you also, sir, about SC, and you said there are a lot of gray areas in SC. The more the practice you do in SC, the better
Mhm.
you will get in SC. So I think SC was like really tough for me in the very beginning. Even RC and SC, I think, were like tough for me in the very beginning.
All the okay, okay. Any other question anyone would like to ask here, please? All right. So I think one of the things that we have to take care of is the geometry portion this time. I guess for you also, Paki. I'll share some of the stuff that I have collected in the
Yes,
last
sir.
1.5 months and just go through it. Keep working with O3, and I'm
Yes,
very
sir.
sure a deferred MBA is around the corner for you. Very, very sure about
Yes,
that.
sir.
That is right.
Thank you so
All
much,
right.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
See you then.
Thank you
Bye
so
bye.
much. Yes, sir.
Right.
Thank you so much for
Right.
having me as well.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
bye. All the
Bye
best,
bye.
everyone.